Hey everybody, it's Brian Balthazar here in New York City. What's brewing today, aunties?
Grits, chili, and pumpkin spice.
Ask your aunties, not my man, not my problem.
And Curiosity, take 3. So get your cups ready for MinoriTea Report. Hey, y'all.
Hey, booze. How you guys doing today?
Good. I mean, I'm feeling some kind of way because my friend sent me this meme. And the meme was like, you know how to piss a black person off? Let a fly in their house. And when I tell y'all,
That's true.
I have never been so seen in my life.
You felt exposed.
Man, I really did. Because like in our apartment, like we like to leave the balcony door open because like it gets warm on our floor. And it's the best way to just kind of get a nice breeze in here. But somehow there's like always like fucking 15 flies. I actually had a dream last night that there were like 20 flies. It was like the attack of the flies last night. This is how seen I feel about this. I kid you not. But Vincent will tell
Especially this time of year because like you like to leave the windows and the doors open and get the cool breeze.
You know, because it's fall time. You know, like it's good, fresh air. And so
them flies.
Vincent will tell y'all, I will literally be clapping my hands like I'm in a church choir, like I'm in a church choir, you know, every 5 seconds, like on the 2s and 4s, okay, trying to get these flies.
He's like thunderclap, hey, thunderclap, hey.
Turn around and do it with the booty cheeks.
Wind it back. It's a different version of Drop a Low for Jesus, okay?
That song is still my low-key favorite.
He'd be like, let him leave. He like, let him live, let him live. I'm like, you know what, look, I don't know how y'all, to me, I think that's like some European stuff. Just because like in movies, you'll see them like with the open windows all the time and like all that stuff. No, the bitch don't pay rent, get the fuck up out. They got to go.
Yeah, no, I don't like it. Like we always leave our back door cracked. And that sounds weird. The back door crack. Anyway, the back door crack for the dog to come in and out. And so, yeah, we be dealing with flies too. And I'm like, this is freaking annoying. But like, do you have an old school like fly swatter? Do they sell those still?
I've actually been looking for them. They actually have like these new weird ones where like it almost looks like ping pong paddle but a little bit bigger, and it has like these weird like little wires in between them, and what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to make the flies or bugs go through them, but it clips their wings as it goes through them, so it doesn't necessarily kill them, but it clips their wings so that they don't continue to fly, and then you just pick it up and throw it away.
Okay, come through, Terminator.
Kill it nonetheless.
Okay, right.
So you don't kill them at first. You let them live for like another like 30 seconds,
right? The slow,
and then kill them
death.
and you smush them. Damn, that sounds cruel as hell.
Okay.
Clip their wings, let them sit there wingless,
right?
And then you scoop them up and throw them away.
Like Janelle Monáe said, "You can clip my wings, but I'm still gonna fly." Okay, like,
I guess so.
Okay,
maybe in that imagination.
Right.
I do kind of feel like, especially for Black people, and I don't know, maybe this is my own personal thing and you guys might not feel that, but just let me know. Because I feel like with flies, I know you will. Y'all keep me honest. I feel sorry for the community today. Y'all just in for a good episode. We're in the mood.
Yeah, it's gonna be a messy one.
But I do feel like because of all those like videos from like the 80s and the 90s of like children in Africa with the flies on their face, and because they're Black, I kind of feel like subconsciously that's why I don't like flies in the house. Like,
girl,
that's some deep rooted shit right there. Whoa!
Of all the stuff that reminds you of flies,
so you feel like an African child on television that needs 2 cents a day to live or whatever, and that's why you don't like. That's why you don't like flies.
For 10 cents a day, you can
That's so
for this
fucking bizarre.
Child. I can't not even.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Well, hello, community. On that note, shit.
Right. Right?
Look, I apologize up front.
Oh
We're just
my
in a
God.
silly mood today, so y'all in for a good show this week.
Seriously. Oh, man. And thank you, Brian. We can't forget that. Thank you, Brian, so much for doing that opening.
Yes.
Thank you
That
so
was
much,
awesome.
Brian. Come through, girl.
Yes, Brian Balthazar.
Exactly. You guys might know him out there in New York. He's like all over the place on the Today Show and all that stuff. So
Oh, she
he's
big,
doing it
big.
on
Okay,
IG.
now.
I like his posts actually on IG. I like it a lot. And he's sounding all well, he is a professional, so that's why it sounded all extra good.
Yeah, she's had a really really great career here in New York and in like the whole kind of like entertainment news scene. So she's been on all the talk
Definitely.
shows. You know, she hosts her own show. Her IG is like on fire and super cute too. So, and he's part of the community, so we love it. Ow.
Exactly. So thank you, Boo. That was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is great. But I can't believe it's already damn near mid-October. It is mid-October. Shit.
This year has flown by so fast. It was like, first thing we knew, it was like April, and it was the longest April on the planet. Like, it felt like it was snowing and terrible and gross and whatever. And then it took forever to summer to get here. It was like damn near August before summer got here. And then for like 2 weeks, it was hot. And then next thing you know, here we are in October.
Boom. Here it is. Here he is in this pumpkin spice season. Like,
Like I'm not a coffee drinker. And then B, I highly doubt I would be a pumpkin spice drinker if I were. Like, are you guys into all that pumpkin spice shit?
I'm a minimalist, so no, I don't do like, I like my coffee black. just like I like my
Mans.
Same here. Same here. That was one of the best things that when we came and stayed at your place and you're like, oh, how do you like your coffee? We're like, black with nothing. You're like, oh, that's easy. We're like, yes.
Yep, because I
Simple.
barely have sugar
Straight
in the
up black.
house. Like, I have sugary things, but I don't really keep a lot of sugar in the house. And I weaned myself off a long time ago. I weaned myself off of sugar in a lot of things. Like, I don't like sugar in my coffee. Well, I don't like it anymore. I don't like the sugar in my coffee. I don't like it in my tea. I don't like it in my cereal. So, like, if I have oatmeal or like grits or
Do you like it in your
like
grits?
that bland
Do you like it in your
Huh?
grits? Do you like
I
it in
don't
your
put
grits?
sugar in my
grits.
grits. My family didn't grow up that way, but a lot of people do. There are a lot
Me
of black
either.
people that do.
I do.
Yeah, they like it sugary.
Do you really?
I put brown sugar in my brown sugar in my grits, just a little bit.
No.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I make my grits. I boil half water, half chicken stock because grits could be kind of bland, you know. And then you put your little butter in there. Obviously, you got your grits in there. Put butter in there, salt, and then sometimes I'll put even like some Parmesan cheese in there. So it kind of almost gives it like a little nutty flavor, a little nutty salty flavor. Bitch, it's so good. It is so good. It is so good. Instead of like your sharp cheddar,
So
if you
it's
put Parmesan
almost,
in there.
We're gonna have to
I feel
try
like this is gonna have
that.
to turn into some grits episode because there's all sorts of ways to make grits. I ain't never
That is
heard
true.
in my life about putting
Try
some
it.
Parmesan.
But
and
that's
some grits.
almost
you,
like
it's
that's almost like
life-changing.
doing a risotto. Almost.
In a little way. Yeah. It's a little more savory. It's a little more savory than like your normal grits. Because the grits honestly don't taste
I
like
love
shit.
it. I love how cardboardy it
I
tastes.
love it.
I
Me
love
too.
grits. But once you
me
put it in
too.
there,
Mhm.
it's everything.
I love me some grits, and I love like putting some bacon up in there, like crumbling up some bacon.
Ooh, that
Or
is
like
true.
you know
I
how
love
like
bacon.
you put two
Wait,
things
so
on
you
your
do
fork.
bacon and sugar at the same damn
No,
time?
like
Mix them after
I
they're
cook my
made.
bacon, but you know, right? Exactly. Like you know how
Okay.
you put two foods on a fork. You know, put some bacon
Okay,
on
I'm
the
with
fork,
you.
and I take some grits.
Yeah.
You know, or like some
Mm.
eggs and some grits on one fork. Kind of like when you do like candy yams and mac and cheese on one
Yes.
fork. That
and
fight,
just one leaf of
Woo,
greens.
that cheesy sweet. Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, girl.
Hey,
Look,
So
that's
Thanksgiving's
the best-
coming up. You
that's
got
the
me hungry
best
now.
fork
look,
spoon combo ever.
it's eating season, y'all.
girl.
It's eating season.
Look, okay.
It is
Sweets,
eating season.
Look,
candies,
No,
carbs.
bulking
Exactly.
season. It's bulking
Right,
season,
exactly.
okay? I'm getting my winter weight on.
But you know what? That
Summer is
Yeah.
long gone.
Okay.
Get
But
that weight on,
Carell,
girl.
that's a really good idea. I've never even thought about using chicken stock as an alternative for, for the liquid. That I might
It's
have
good.
to try that.
Yes. Try
That's
it
a lot
next
more
time.
complicated
You-
than brown sugar. I don't know how I get judged for some sugar. You got chicken stock, salt and pepper, Parmesan, and all I do is put some brown sugar. Ugh. Like, damn.
But it's so
Oh, my bad,
it's so
boo.
funny
My
because like
bad.
when you talk to different like black people, like it's almost like grits is like, it's really like everybody pretty much
It's
has
polarizing.
grits, but like the way that they prepare them are completely different. Completely different.
Because some people like it runnier, some people like it thicker.
I would say that and mac and cheese. That and mac and cheese are the two things that people
Mac and cheese.
you will see across the board.
And potato salad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Potato salad gets them every time.
Potato salad is supposed to at least look a certain way across
Did
the
you
board.
ever see that video of the grandmas trying each other's potato salad?
Yes.
Wait, was it mac and cheese?
I love
there's
that.
a couple.
It's the aunties.
There's a couple,
Yeah.
maybe aunties.
There's a couple of them.
But there's a couple of them, like, you know, so-and-so's, like, abuelas try each other's tamales, and then, you know, grandmas try each other's chicken, and then
Chicken and
aunties
mac
try
and
each
cheese.
other's potato salad. And I don't know where,
my
where in
goodness.
the
I
region
wanna
of the
see that
United
one.
States they be pulling these people from. Because it's just like,
Me either.
it's food is supposed I mean, not the food has to be prepared a certain way, but like every time I watch those kind of videos, it's like, who makes their food like that? Like the one chick,
You sound like Corey. Corey's such a traditionalist
Mm-hmm.
on certain foods. Like he's like, no, you don't change that. Like, why are you doing that? I'm like, food is food. Like, food is so like it's
Right.
infinite ways you can
Right.
prepare things.
But yeah, that just made me think of it because I was like, even in that video, the aunties trying each other's potato salad, the one woman was like, has a, like, in my opinion, a very unhealthy obsession with pickles. And most of her potato salad was pickles. And I'm like, that's not supposed to be in there. But
That's
you just,
funny.
yeah, I might have to try that, Carell. I might have to try it with a little bit of chicken
Try
stock
it.
to add a little
It-
bit
it
of
sha- like-
savoriness to it. Because usually I only make grits as a breakfast food. But I could also see it being used as part of like a main deal because it's hominy.
And I saw it somewhere. I forget who did it. It might have been on like the Food Network or something. And at first I was like, okay, that sounds weird. But I was like, okay, hold on. That makes sense though. And then I tried it and then never gone back. And it's good, especially if you do like almost like a shrimp and grits a shrimp and grits dish. It changes the whole plate. It honestly does.
Do you
It's
use
so
andouille
delicious.
sausage with your shrimp and grits, or you just do like
You
legit
can.
shrimp and grits? No, I'm asking, do you?
It just depends on what I got on hand.
Oh,
And
okay.
if I forget to pick up something, be like, okay, I'm not going back to the store to get the sausage. But if we have sausage, usually we'll have sausage somewhere. Like,
Girl, I
either
know
in the freezer
y'all
or
house, y'all
refrigerator.
got sausages all over the place.
You know
Girl,
what? Stop.
you know my husband. My husband. Exactly.
I'm done.
But sausage everywhere. Nom nom. Wait, what'd you say?
Oh, that was a throwback from the summer.
That episode will live in infamy.
For real.
Oh, that was so funny.
Lord.
I don't know how we got onto the Food Network.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, how we
Anyway,
get into
hey,
cooking
come here.
and shrimps and grits and
Look, we making everybody hungry. They're driving into work this
Shit.
morning.
I know, that's
They're
right.
trying to
But luckily-
maintain their diets. Everybody's going vegan or keto or whatever. And we up here talking about everything but.
Not this
Right.
time of year, we ain't. This is the good time of year.
Yes.
Mm.
What's your favorite? So speaking of food, what's your favorite like fall, winter time dish? Or like that's not maybe your favorite, but like something that's up there for you.
Yeah. You can never go wrong, at least for me. You can never go wrong with just a good crock of chili. Like, I just feel like that's what I always crave chilies during when it starts getting cool out.
Now, are you a red bean chili or you a white bean chili? What's your you
usually
sweet or
red
savory
bean-
with your chili?
Usually red beans. Yeah.
Red beans. Okay,
Usually
so
red
kidney beans. Yeah.
But you know what? I don't mind like a white chicken chili either.
Okay.
Like I think that's delicious as well. But usually a red bean. Corey likes his a little more sweeter than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of likes. He always says, "I like my meat candied."
oh,
I
Look,
know.
we don't need to know what's
Exactly.
going on in the bedroom.
And his voice isn't that deep, so I don't know why I went deeper on that. That was weird. But no, like so when he makes his chili, he likes to put like a little thing of, like a sugar in it a little
Really?
bit to sweeten it up a little bit. And it's still delicious. Like it's still kind of like it's still savory overall, but his has a little sweeter note than mine. I like mine probably a little more spicy than he does. Like I like to have at least a little kick in the throat, you know.
oh,
To get,
so
like-
she into that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Wait till we get to our curiosities a little later.
Choke me, bitch. No. Lord, who knows where this episode, Lord Jesus,
already.
But yes, chili.
Chili's your go-to. What about you, Jerrell?
I don't know if I really have like a favorite go-to meal for the fall. I'm a thick girl. I love to eat.
all the above.
I love to eat. You know, just give me some carbs. A bitch is happy. She good. I don't know. Like, I don't mind chili. If I do chili, I would prefer like a red bean chili. It's the one time where I'll eat something a little bit on the spicy side because I don't care for spicy food unless it's like spicy wings of some sort. Then that's when I'll have something spicy. But other than that, the girl don't care. She just, as long as it tastes good and it's edible and she don't get no food poisoning, she don't care.
You're good to go.
And there are no vegetables.
No.
Because Jerrell don't like vegetables unless it's a potato.
Unless it's some greens, some candy yams,
It got
those are vegetables.
I hope you're taking a multivitamin.
Those are vegetables. She good.
Yeah. I would say mine is probably pot roast. It's my sister's absolute favorite food, but the only reason I say it for me is because the only time that I really make it is in the fall.
Yeah.
It's like... Because
the oven be on forever and it be heating the house up. You won't do that in the summer.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's like that's a 3-4 hour cooking process, but by the time that pot roast comes out of the oven and you got... the bay leaves, you've got the juices, you've got like those like rustic Idaho potatoes that are chopped up in there, some with skin on, some with the skin off. The little carrots
in yours?
Carrots and celery. Yes.
Yeah.
Throw down, baby.
There we go. Another thing that Corey makes, he hasn't made it in a while, but I guess it's just now fall, but he usually will make like a meatloaf. Like out of the blue, he'll have like a craving for a meatloaf and mashed potatoes. And so I'm sure that's coming soon. I'm sure he's going to hear this episode. And that next day we're going to be having meatloaf and potatoes.
I have a really good turkey meatloaf recipe that I know that turkey typically it dries out.
And I'm sure he's screaming at the episode and saying, hell no.
I'm telling you,
I hear him now.
The way that I make my turkey burgers in the summertime is also the way that I make my meatloaf. So what I end up doing is I take all the vegetables. So I take the onion, the garlic, the red pepper, green pepper. I also take either poblano peppers or jalapenos. And then I blister them on the stovetop. So I'll saute them to blister them to give them like that smoky, like hot flavor or whatever. But it takes away a lot of the actual heat from the peppers.
Yeah.
And then I take that, let it cool down. And then I put it in a blender and I blend it. And then I add egg and, breadcrumbs and seasoning and all that kind of fun stuff. And then I add that mixture with either crushed tomatoes or something like that to the turkey meat. And then mix all of that stuff up and then put it in there with, your kind of like topping or whatever. And because of the breadcrumbs and the vegetables are sauteed, you get that smoky flavor within the meatloaf because turkey meat ain't got no flavor whatsoever, so you got to really punch it up. But then it also, because it's all the meat has been kind of like, or not all the meat, but all the vegetables have been kind of macerated and turned into like a paste. When you fold it in with the meat, it actually retains.
And macerated is Dewan's word of the week.
Look that one up. It's like Madonna. Look it up.
Look it up.
A little reductive. But no, it keeps it keeps the turkey from drying out. So it's really, really fucking good.
Man, look at this. This is the POC cooking channel.
Okay.
Y'all better be writing notes.
Gays in the kitchen.
And listen, if y'all need any recipes, just hit us up in our DMs or text us or whatever. We'll send you the recipes. I got all my little recipes ready to send out, so nothing's proprietary.
Do you have a recipe for that, or do you just fill it out, though?
I have a recipe, but I mean, Black people, we cook with our feelings.
Right.
So
we put a little this, a little that.
But I do have a formal recipe because I've made it enough times for other people that they've asked for it. And so, I give them the recipe. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, look at that. I'm hungry. Damn. Time to eat. Sorry, community, on this Monday morning if you all haven't had your breakfast yet.
Everybody's going into lunch like, I need something heavy.
Mm-hmm. But it's coming up to be one of my favorite time of the year, Halloween, where all the boys get naked.
Basically.
You know, all the hoe costumes come out for Halloween.
Girl.
Do you guys dress up for Halloween?
It depends on if I have a party or a thing to go to. I mean, clearly we're not going trick-or-treating. Going door to door.
Trick or treating.
But, if we've had a couple of we either hosted a little get together at our place or we've gone to it. I like the house parties versus going out to the bars and the clubs.
Agree,
I prefer those because I just feel like, number one, you're not freezing your ass off walking from one bar to the next. And then number two,
so she ain't wearing no clothes, basically.
Hammered.
See,
look, I'm Auntie Chardonnay, so I'm clothed. I'm clothed. Now, Auntie Hennessy, how you doing?
I mean,
she be having the booty cakes out.
Back in the day, I used to.
Look, we saw how she was dressed for Pride, chain link and everything.
I mean, that was inspired though by Auntie Baca though. So, she inspired me with the crop top. So I take zero credit for that. I take zero credit for that.
This buck is being passed around.
Right. Like, Chardonnay. That was vodka.
We're keeping the money in the community here.
Right. That was Hennessy.
No, but I typically don't.
I love Halloween. I love dressing up.
I am so bad at thinking of what to wear. I don't have that creative brain to be like, oh, do this or do this. And so I typically don't. And then also I know a lot of people also like to dress up in drag during that time too. It's because it's the one time you're like, well, I can wear makeup and heels and all the rest of that stuff and look good. Like one of my best friends, Matt, he does a good job doing dressing up for Halloween. One day he dressed up the Mummy with Tom Cruise. And you know how there was the Mummy witch girl who had she had the black wig on with the ruin.
I think I missed that.
Oh yeah,
she
goes all out. She was I think she did Poison Ivy one year too, and she did Pocahontas one year, I think, or something like that, or I forget what she did, but she always dressed up phenomenally, and I'm like, okay, girl, I see you. But I don't know. I can't think of shaving my legs or shaving my facial hair. These DSLs look extra huge when I shave, So I need my beard to make them look smaller, So I don't need all that attention. Why are you staring in my mouth?
Ready.
Get out my mouth. Don't be asking what to do. Look, I was just about to say.
You got a real pretty mouth.
What that mouth do?
That's what I get excited for Halloween, and it's kind of slowed down, I guess, as I gotten older. But I used to be super gun ho on dressing up. I've been Prince a number of times. I've been Rick James. A lot of my characters came from the Chappelle Show. Honestly.
I was just about to say that I could totally see you doing a lot of Chappelle Show characters.
Oh my god, hell yeah! I did all the characters from that show. I was the bum from there that had always scratched his neck. Not Ashley Larry, the crackhead with the red hat.
Oh, yes.
I was him for 1 year. Then, since been in a relationship with Corey, I make him dress up and he hates it. But he's just like, okay, if you figure something out, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. But he does not want to create it. He doesn't want to look it up. He doesn't want to research it, nothing. He's like, just have it for me on that day and I'll do it. So we've been salt and pepper since we're in an interracial relationship. So that's fucking hilarious to me. I made him dress up as Popeye 1 year and I was MC Hammer. What's another one we've done? I forget anymore. So I don't know what we're going to do this year, and it's getting late now.
And it's coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I know. So I don't know.
We should do a Halloween post and and have people from the community send us their Halloween costumes and just highlight, our peeps.
For sure. Yeah. You got it, Madam Notes?
I'm writing it down right now.
But as much as Corey hates dressing up, he loves Halloween. It's probably his favorite holiday, especially when we lived in Dallas, because the neighborhood we were in got like all the kids. Like all the kids came to that neighborhood. So we would probably get like 300 kids in a night. And so one year we invited all our friends over. And Corey and his fog machine fogged out the front yard, and we had like tombstones and everything, and it was dark out. And so we had our friends dress up as different like goons and goblins. And then our one friend had like an all black spandex bodysuit on, and it was dark out and you could not see him at all. So he'd be hiding behind like a tombstone and jump out and scare the little kids. It was everything. Like we have videos of that. Like that was everything. But since we moved to Atlanta, we live in East Atlanta Village area, and the village always does like a trick-or-treating for the whole area. So they don't really go trick-or-treating in the neighborhoods here, and he gets so upset every year. So he's about to be depressed again for the third year in a couple of weeks because he just enjoys it so much. He enjoys scaring the kids. He just, it's up his alley, and he hasn't been able to do it for a few years now. So I'm sorry, Boo. I'm sure you're sad listening to this.
I will say that I do like that Halloween has also helped push the envelope for like men in makeup. You know, kind of like I was saying before.
Yeah.
Like I forgot where we were. I think we were in like Physic and I were in Las Vegas, and we saw like an ad campaign for makeup and outside this makeup store, and like the main person of the campaign was a man in makeup. And I was just like, I love the fact that they went with a man wearing makeup. You know, like I think it's just really cool.
You see it a lot with like the James Charles and I forget the other guy that pops up on my YouTube. Clearly, she still be getting like 8 million views on every episode of her YouTube.
Damn.
So very.
Apparently.
But do you guys feel like there's still a stigma of guys wearing makeup? And obviously, there's a spectrum of makeup. There's like beat, and then there's like a light beat, and then there's might be like concealer and all that stuff. Like, because, like, I bought, like, a Fenty concealer for, like, my under eyes. I'm like, okay, you know, cover up these she's getting a little older to make sure I'm still slayed for the Lords. But Corey thought it was just so weird. He's like, why would you do that? And I've honestly worn it, like, twice because I'm like, okay, this shit just takes too much time. Even though it's not that much time, I'm like, I forget about it. But, like, he was just like, why would you? Like, that's weird. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? I don't know. Like, you want to look your best self.
I'm a fan of Black Don't Crack. So I'm gonna rock this natural glow until I absolutely must. I mean, I understand that some people aren't as fortunate to have all this melanin.
What did you sing a couple episodes ago? You poor unfortunate
hoes.
You know, I mean, like, I understand.
Okay, Ariel.
Look, I mean, I get it. I get why people would want to wear makeup. And it's unfortunate because in today's society, like what the beauty standard is, you know, we haven't got to the point where the standard of beauty is come as you are. You know, there's still a standard of like, you have to look a certain way, which sadly reflects also on how people feel. So some people haven't gotten to the point where they feel better just having it on.
And it's almost become an art form, honestly, at this point. Like, I think a lot of people almost wear it because they like the art form of it. You know, like, a lot of it, honestly, came from drag culture. A lot of these beats and everything you saw 30, 40 years ago in drag culture, and now they're just now mainstream.
But,
so,
I mean, I guess,
get it twisted out there.
Those same people, though, who love the beat, though, how often do you see them not beat? Like, it's become a persona. It's become a mask. It's become something that I feel that sometimes hide people. Like, I understand, like, wanting to step out here and there and, you know, be like, this is what I look like. But, like, once you start, I guess, viewing it as that's how you actually look, I just feel like you're kind of running away from the truth of who you are, you know? Like,
yeah.
And makeup could be sorcery. Let's be honest. Makeup could be sorcery. You know, people have been bamboozled. People have been filter. Right. Okay. People have been bamboozled and wake up the next morning and be like, "Oh, goddamn, that is not who I went to bed with." You know what I'm saying? Like,
and now your pillows are ruined.
Look, all I'm
gotta
saying,
throw the sheets away.
Look, all I'm saying is like, it's cool to love to wear makeup, but like, don't be afraid to share with the world who you really are and what you really look like. Like, don't forget to own your truth.
I agree with that. I'm going to take a little bit of a different spin because, like, I think in the broader context of just like makeup altogether, I love that we're in this movement now where we're challenging what masculinity is or what being a man is. And so, you know, like we all have masculine and feminine aspects of our identity and expression. So the idea of someone wearing makeup, it to me is becoming less and less of an issue or even a topic, really. Like I love the idea of celebrating like who you are and what does that mean for you and how you want to express yourself. I totally agree with the idea of like bamboozlery and you know, like whatever. But I also feel like, you know, do what makes you happy, Absolutely. You know, and if it makes you happy to, you know, put on a beat face, or if it makes you happy to go au naturel, like do that, express that. I love that we're just getting closer to a space of not having to have shame because someone chooses to express themselves in a way that may not be the way that we would express ourselves. And, Absolutely. You know, and I love that. Now, coming from a person who is truly a minimalist, I have to say that I do have a stick of Tom Ford under eye concealer.
Look at y'all and y'all name dropping over here. Bitch got fancy. Right, this bitch got Tom Ford. And I'm over here with my Walgreens little lip gloss over here. Like, my CVS popping over here. Like, right.
But I will tell you.
Of course, you know I have.
I will tell you, you know, my partner's in the beauty business. So, you know, he really understands, and you guys have seen him. Like he, you know, from time to time, you know, wears makeup but he doesn't look like one who wears makeup. It's not like an overall complete transformation.
It's
like
a boy beat.
Like that.
It's a boy beat.
Absolutely. You know, but on the flip side of things, for if there was a man that wanted to beat his face and look more feminine, you know, I'm down for that, you know, and it's just a different way of expressing themselves. And I celebrate anybody, you know, who expresses themselves in a way that celebrates their feminine aspects. And if you need to do and want to use makeup to do that, then go for it. I say I'm here for it.
I agree.
I'm here for it too.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly,
do you like it? I love it.
It's only been in the last year, so I was like, okay, what? Like, let me see what my options are. And it's not even like for me, it's not even trying to do a mask. I'm like, okay, what do I look like with it? What do I look without it? And honestly, there wasn't that much of a change. So I was like, okay, I just wasted $35 on fancy concealer. But I guess I'm gorgeous nonetheless.
I will tell you, though, as someone who suffers from, you know, from the occasional, more often than I'd like, blemish, my concealer stick has saved my ego on more than one occasion. Okay, you know, because people that know you, and if you have a breakout or whatever, they're not like, you know, oh, whatever. They're not being like mean towards you or whatever, but it's an ego thing. And I'm telling you, it has saved my ego on more than one occasion. So
got a big
I'm here for the
I'm
magic.
I'm one of those people who give like that rude eye contact when I got something on my face. But I'll be looking at you. I want you to look. I want to see your eyeballs. Look at the pimple. Do it. Look at it. Look at it. You better keep your eyes
like, hey,
on my eyes. Like, I dare you to. Try me.
She's daring.
Right. What you gonna do now? Wait, so Tom Ford has, and maybe this is an ignorant statement, Tom Ford has enough shades of concealer out there.
Tom Ford has shades. Shades. I won't say that.
You got two. Do you be mixing and matching?
Me? No, mine is actual
you got two different shades to make your, you know, put them together.
Mine is it's a.
He's like,
I'm
stirring and stirring,
and it's an actual match to my skin tone.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So I literally just bloop, and it's. I might have to like dab around the edges so that it's not as hard, but you know, it's a pretty.
Sponge blender.
No, I just use my thumb.
Yes, honey.
Because you know she's a minimalist.
Yeah, no, but
she doesn't have like brushes. You know, she doesn't have like an airbrush tool. You know, look, if I can't put it on in less than a minute and a half, it's not going on. I'm just walking.
It's not going to happen.
Sorry.
I hear you.
But yeah, I agree with you guys. I agree. I mean, I guess one question is, are you part of the toxic masculinity if you don't like find people attractive who wear makeup?
I think if your reason for not liking them is because you're scared of the makeup and what that means to you, then yes. If it's just because you don't find them attractive and you don't have issue with makeup, then no. I think it's a fine line. I really do. Because I find that a lot of time the issue people have issues with men in makeup is because of what they think in their head of what a man is supposed to be from what they've heard either from media or their parents growing up and things like that. But to each his own, you're going to like who you like at the end of the day, I guess. But I would say don't cast your fears and stigmas on another person because they're completely A-okay with themselves. You know, they don't have those stigmas upon themselves. So I think it's a fine line.
Do you know how, Jerrell, you got me watching Are You the One?
Mm-hmm.
And way back when, and this is a trashy ass show, y'all. And, it's so trashy. It is so bad. But there are two individuals on here, Jonathan and Bassett. And Bassett is like tall, black, beautiful, almost androgynous in a sense. He's a man. Well, I'm sorry, they are a man because he prefers to be used them and they as pronouns. But physically a man, crosses the gender lines, wears makeup, wears women's clothing, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. At any rate, there was another guy that he was attracted to, Jonathan, who also, in a sense, has a very kind of like feminine projection, but he doesn't wear makeup or anything. And but he's really attracted to the classic ideal of what a gay man is supposed to be attracted to, meaning, you know, masculine, muscles, big, brawny, blah, blah, blah. And his perfect match ended up being this, you know, being Bassett, who does not project any of those things. Mm-hmm. And the challenge that he had to overcome, which I found was really interesting, was, and it was a real moment, was checking his own internal biases about like judging someone based on their outward appearance versus being attracted to the person that they are, regardless of how they, you know, they show up. So I guess that was a long-winded way of saying there's two spectrums of, you know, like at first glance, there's like instant sexual chemistry or sexual attraction. But then what is the intention behind that? Is it really just, I want to sleep with somebody, so I'm just not going to sleep with blah, 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 blah. Or is it that I'm trying to get to know people, and am I using, or is my bias about wearing makeup, those that wear makeup, getting in the way of me really being open and honest about not only how I feel, but also getting to know people that I otherwise might not have explored the option with?
Yeah. See, for me, I don't know. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I mean, if you're into wearing makeup, you're into wearing makeup. If you're not, you're not. And I personally do not care. I don't know. I guess I've just have not been with someone who's into wearing makeup. But I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm still a personality person. So if you got a great personality, I don't really care as much about the outer appearance as much as the inner beauty, you know? So, I mean, if you want to beat your face to make your outsides match your inside, I'm all for it. But you got to come with the correct insides first before I even give a damn about how you
gonna
look
be
like
checking for
outside,
them insides,
you know. Let me see them guts. Let me see them guts. Let me stop.
And we are not talking about fisting people. What them insides feel like.
One of these days, we're going to do a YouTube so you can see.
This might go up. At least that little clip of what you just did. Because Dewan was about to put his whole head inside there. IML, bitch.
Look,
we haven't said it in a while. IML.
I cannot. Oh, Jesus.
I'm done.
Love it. But, you know, it's that time of the episode once again. And what is it? It's Ask Your Aunties. Yes.
And we told the community this was going to be an interesting episode. So.
Right. We said it was going to be an interesting episode.
We warned y'all up front first 5 minutes.
Talk everything from grits to fisting.
See, Carell, you just made somebody crash their car right there.
Right now.
All they try to do is take the I-95 to work.
And please, hopefully there's not a person out there that doesn't know what fisting is. Hopefully, because we don't want to explain it.
But that don't mean they want to start their Monday morning off with, with that visual image.
Or maybe they do. I don't know.
True. Let's not assume.
To each his and her own. His, her, and they own.
You know what Samuel L. Jackson says about making assumptions, right? You make an ass out of you and umption.
Cool.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's see here. So the Ask Your Aunties question of the week here is from, should we say the name? We didn't ask. Oops. We'll say anonymous right now.
Yeah, we'll say anonymous right now because I don't think we confirmed that they wanted their name attached to this one.
Name. It says, would you rather tell someone that they are being cheated on or not my man, not my problem?
Okay.
Would you rather?
We all side on that.
I mean, not on a Monday morning. Damn. This is all the way messy.
So,
Jerrell, do you want to check for their insides?
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say something. See something, say something. Y'all know I'm that real ride or die friend.
Petty.
You know I am. A part of it is, yes, being petty, but also at the same time, I would hope my friend would love me enough to be like, girl, you need to go. You need to bounce. That's why you need to bounce. I am not the type to shoot the messenger, because other people can't control your home, but you and your significant other. So I would never shoot the messenger. I wouldn't even go to the person that the person is cheating on, because your partner at the end of the day still had a choice to either do it or not do it. I don't care how many factors are involved. So I want my friend to tell me. I'm going to tell my friend. My friend may not like what I got to say, but my friend should also know that I am that bitch. So I ain't going to tell you no lie. Right, and I took a DNA test. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, But I also think that's one of the reasons why people also drawn to me, because I am a very honest person. It's also about the delivery, too. You don't need to deliver that message in a way of like, girl, like, fuck him, blah, 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 blah. Like, you also should probably be thoughtful about how they are feeling, because especially if the person they're in love, like, they've been in a relationship for a while, like, they've invested time, energy, and emotions and all sorts of things into this relationship. So it's not as easy as just packing your shit and leave to the left, like Beyonce said. Like, nah, you probably, like someone, like months ago, like a listener had to get that name off the lease, find a new place, get a new man, a new job, start all over.
A new pocketbook.
Like there's a lot that comes to breaking up. So, of course, all that will be running through that person's mind just outside of that person, partner cheating. So tell them. Tell them. Don't put that bad karma on yourself, because what goes around comes around, honey. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm conflicted.
I am too.
And I think it's circumstantial. I think in part it depends on what kind of relationship do I have with this individual. If there's somebody that I just know casually, or is it somebody that I know, like, that's part of my inner circle. And then the other thing is that, do I know whether or not they have an arrangement? So, I'm assuming based on the way the question is written that, Anonymous knows that the individual in question has a non-open relationship where they're expected to be monogamous, and they saw the other person doing whatever they saw them doing. I got a visual of the barn again.
Hey, in the middle of the barn. Stop. We're gonna ban you from that sound.
But like, I'm gonna assume that this person knows that the other person is in a monogamous relationship, or supposed to be in a monogamous relationship, and they don't have an arrangement around, like, being outside of that, the two of them. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm operating with that mindset, if someone close to me was in a monogamous relationship and I saw their partner doing something, I probably wouldn't say anything unless they asked me. I probably wouldn't say anything, because I also believe in get out of, grown folks' business.
That's my saying. I was about to say that.
And as much as I care for other people. Unless I know for sure that they're like you, Jerrell, and they're like, I would want to know.
I was about to say, y'all
if
better
I'm
tell
not
me.
sure about that. Because
Community, y'all better tell me too. Because I'm Bernadine. I'm Bernadine. I got some shit to burn. So I'm about to be waiting to
he
exhale.
got eyes everywhere now.
I'm about to be like Angela Bassett from Waiting to Exhale. Get your shit. Get your shit and get out.
Cigarette ablaze.
Right. Excuse me, man. You know it's illegal to burn anything but trash in your yard. It is trash.
He about to put on the Mary J. Blige scarf and dark glasses and start singing "Not Gonna Cry."
I bust the window out your car.
Not gonna cry.
But you know what? I will say that I'm pretty fortunate that, and I think we're all kind of in this boat, that we're pretty fortunate that a lot of the people that we hang out with are kind of in a certain level of maturity with regard to how they treat relationships and like even friendships. And so, I think earlier, like when I think about my 20s and whatnot, and, you're just fiddling around, you're figuring out who you are and all that kind of fun stuff. You sometimes it takes you a while to figure out who your friends are. And there are a lot of people that deal with some really shady ass people that will say stuff, to break you up because they want your man. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm not saying that I'm part of that crew,
or
but
that
I'm just
they
saying
want to see you hurt.
Right.
Like, hurt
so
people
like,
hurt people.
like my first impulse, one of the things that I learned coming out of my 20s and my 30s is my first impulse is to make sure I understand, like I get what I see and what I experience, but understand what the situation is and make a judgment based on what I understand. And for the most part, I lean towards staying out of grown folks' business. And now, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But I'm not necessarily going to just automatically volunteer that information because, I want to make sure that whatever relationship I have with that person there's enough relationship equity that they're not looking at me sideways like, oh, well, why are you trying to bring drama into my relationship and blah, 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 blah. I don't have those kind of friends now. Fortunately, because I feel very fortunate in that way. But I can say in my 20s, things can go left for a whole different kind of reasons. And you may be trying to do the right thing. And then all of a sudden they're coming at you, looking at you sideways because they think you're trying to, undercut their relationship.
And that's when I weed them out. See, I don't concern myself with how the other person's going to react because at least I can go to sleep knowing that I did the right thing. I never feel bad for doing the right thing, even if other people take it the wrong way, because how they take it is on them. I can't be responsible, nor give zero fucks for how they take it because they grown.
And that is what?
Because they grown. That is growth.
Growth.
That is their prerogative. If they want to take it negative, then that's on them. That's an area that they need to work on. But I'm not going to concern myself or be less than the good person that I know that I can be just because someone ain't strong enough to handle the truth. And that's probably why they getting cheated on to begin with. I'm just saying.
Ooh, okay.
There
we have it. Okay.
So what do you think,
Listen to
bro?
both sides of this. Listen to both sides and listen to what you guys had to say. Initially, my thought process, I stay out of grown folks' business. Like, I say that all the time because you honestly don't know situations fully. A lot of times, like especially when it comes to relationships, you hear a lot of times the one side, of your friend, and you might not hear the other person's side a lot.
Oh, the one cheating?
And so, not even just on cheating, but just of the relationship. So, a lot of times your friend might tell you exactly what you need to hear, but maybe it's not the complete truth of the situation, is what I'm trying to say, And you're going to believe, obviously, your friend because that's what your friend told you, this and that. So my first initial thought process was like, unless I'm super duper close with that person and know, like DeJuan said, their situation, that they are in a monogamous relationship, this and that, I'm probably going to stay out of it unless it's like something like their well-being physically or something like that's going to
Well, you never know because you don't know if they're being
on,
protective or not. I mean, there are health things that come into people cheating. Like,
for sure. But I get all that. But I want to say I would rather know for sure their relationship because you guys don't know all the shit that Corey and I talk about in our situation. I don't know all of you guys' stuff. And so that's when things get a little skewed and you might misinterpret a situation that you just did not know the full situation of.
Right.
However, if it was someone close, I would think I would eventually try to find a way, especially if you see or hear it multiple times or things like that. But like, okay, here's what I saw. Here's what I heard. You do with it what you want to, like you were saying, Jerrell. Take it the way you need to take it. But I now need to get this off of me because I've seen it a couple times or I've heard it a couple times, this and that, and I don't know you guys' situation. And so I think it really becomes the intent of how I say it to the person. Exactly. But my initial thought is like, ooh, I'm going to stay out of grown folks' business, at least for the time being, until I know maybe more information.
Well, I
then
think,
the way you communicate then is so key because it is a touchy subject.
Right. Well, and maybe it's, and see, for me, like, and that's why I guess I don't care who it is, as long as I know the person. Like, I don't care because I'm not going to be like, well, your man cheating. I would never be like that. I will literally, and even if it's a good person, because like you said, you may not know the circumstances of the relationship. So I always go off that. I will never go in the direction of being like, your man's cheating. I would always be like, well, but I just want to let you know that this is what I saw with my own eyes. This is what I heard with my own ears, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what the deal is between you two. I don't really want to get in between it, but I want you to know what I know just in case you didn't know. You know?
Because, what would you say if they said, oh, I know?
Huh? Well, then, okay, cool.
What would you say?
If that's your business, that's your business. Because I also, like you said, like I respect whatever it is that they have at the same time. Because if they do have an open relationship and I don't know that, then I also want to respect that too. So I would never go into it thinking that every relationship is monogamous to begin with, because you see that in the gay community quite often that a lot aren't these days, you know? So I go in with the cup half empty, half full, you know? I go expecting, I make sure that I don't think one or the other when I say the information, and I let them choose what to do with the information at the end of the day, you know? But I guess I have a follow-up question for y'all.
And let's pose that to the community too.
Yeah.
We'll put that as a poll or a question on the Insta story one day here.
Yeah.
Just to see what you guys would say in these kind of situations.
Yes. My follow-up question to you guys is, if your friend is dating someone that's toxic for them, would you tell them? And I'm not talking about like a new friend who's already been in a relationship. I'm talking
Like
about I'm talking about a friend that you know before they got in a relationship. And they started dating someone and the person is toxic for them. Or maybe you know things about that person that may personally not be okay for you, but they may not know about this information.
I ain't saying shit.
Would you say something?
I ain't say because it's my judgment now and it's not their judgment. And what I think might be good or bad for a human might not be what they are good and bad for themselves. And they might not be at that point in life to comprehend either way, honestly. And then they might turn and look at you and be like, okay, what do you know? You don't know my life. Like, who are you? You know? And then turn into some bullshit that is not even about, I ain't got time for all that. I would but once again, if I feel that it's going to come down to they're going to be getting hurt physically, or like it's like an emotional abuse situation or something like that, I'll probably speak something, because no, you don't need to be going through all that. But if it's just me because I just don't like their personality or something like that.
No, I mean, not personal stuff, but like knowing that the person is a toxic person. Like, if you know that this person has bad tendencies or have done bad things before, like, and you know this for a fact, are you going to subject your friend? Are you going to subject your friend to that? Or are you going to let them figure it out on their own? What about you, Dwayne?
If whatever it is that that the person that they're dating is doing is severe enough that I feel like either they literally just have no idea. Like if they're if the person has an abusive past,
right,
and they don't have an idea. Like maybe, so I'm in New York, I have a friend in New York, and maybe I know this person from like Columbus, Ohio, where I was, but they don't know. So we don't have mutual friends like that or whatever, but I know of this person and their history and their background. Everybody can change. But I would wait until they ask me, unless I physically saw something that was where I needed to step in, I would have to say.
Interesting. See, this is why I must be called Auntie Hennessy, because I must be a real bitch. Because, like, all I'm saying is, I like I would never put my own personal dislikes for someone on someone else. But if I know that they have been harmful to themselves and to other people, I will always speak up because I value my friend enough to not subject them to something, or not subject them to something. But if they don't know, I want to share that information so that way they can make the correct choice. Because dating's like an interview. When you're dating, it's very easy to get swept up because everyone always put their best foot forward. And it's not until afterwards where you start seeing a person's true colors. So if I know someone's true colors personally beforehand, and my friend that's dating them don't get to see that because they're wrapped up in the dick or the ass, or being taken out on
The
night
elbows,
dates, and
the
then the
knees.
elbows, the knees, the
Fist.
fist. If they get wrapped up in all that, then I want to just make sure that my friend is aware, because there have been plenty of times I've been in relationships where it's not until like 3 years later, going almost 4 years later, that we break up, and they're like, "Oh, girl, I didn't like that person anyway because of this, this, and this, and this." And it's like, well, damn, bitch, like, you know me. Why didn't you save my black ass from wasting my time when you knew me well enough that this wasn't going to work to begin with?
But sometimes you got to go through a path, though, in a journey. And sometimes
Yes
if people...
and no, because we're still at a certain age now where, like, we're mature enough where we know the value of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had a certain amount of experience where we don't need to be going through the fuckery, the fuck boys, the foolishness like Ashanti did just to understand what it means to date.
Not Ashanti.
Not Ashanti.
You know what I'm
Ashanti
saying?
alone.
Like,
I feel like Ashanti's name
Hashtag.
come up
Right.
often as well.
She does. But like, we now don't need to go through that, and we also at an age where we can take the information and do our own homework to fact check to see if what our friend is telling us is true versus what the actual person is doing. So
I hear you, but my point is sometimes folks need to go on a journey and learn things themselves. And if you interrupt that process, they never learn what they needed to learn years ago. So they'll be in this loop of never learning anything because people are stepping in supposedly in whatever they're thinking for them when they sometimes need to learn. Yes, I agree. If it's like something physically abusive and things like that, okay, I'm probably going to say something because I don't want to see them get beat up and hurt and things like that. That's unnecessary. But sometimes personalities clash, and if I don't like this person just because our personalities clash, and I think that's toxic, and I go
But that's
to
different.
YOU
We're not
Jerrell and
talking
things like
about
that.
personal experience. I'm not talking about a personal dislike for someone. I'm talking about that knowing.
But you said toxic, so
No.
the word toxic might be different for me versus
No,
you. is
I
my
mean,
point.
toxic. The word toxic in the dictionary stands the same no matter what. Now
But-
you
There she
can.
go pulling out
No,
the
it's true.
dictionary.
It's
Come
true.
on, Webster.
It's true. It
Come
is.
on,
It is
Webster.
the same.
Emmanuel Lewis.
Now I get the gray that you are creating as far as like it is subjected to how far someone thinks is toxic, but overall, I mean, I'm just talking about just like something that's bad for a person.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be, when it comes to these kind of definitions and conversations, you're way more black and white than Dewan and I.
That's true.
And
I
so-
am. I forgot we did discuss
Exactly.
that.
So
in a
you
few-
always go back to
like
definitions
25
and Webster.
episodes ago.
And we look at you like, okay, girl. Mm-hmm.
No. What were we talking about? Were we talking about like hookup culture or something like that? Or
I forget.
what were we talking about? Oh, damn it. Was it like this ghosting
It was
or
something. It was some episode because even my sister was like, girl, Jerrell was on it on that episode. I was like, I know. But like, I just think sometimes, yes, I get what the definition of toxic means. I
Yeah.
get it. However, the interpretation of the word toxic and what you think is toxic for yourself is different for you. It's different for me. It's different for Dewan. If that's the case, we would all be robots at this point in life. You know,
I'm doing the full spectrum. I don't care how little it is. I don't care how big it is. You're not going to catch me slipping, being like, no, I don't know. I mean, I do it. I do appreciate, and maybe that's something I'm going to try to take away from this. Just I like how you guys are very more thoughtful into the other person's reception of the information. I think that's one thing that I know, because I can be a little too blunt and come off as harsh, So I do appreciate that about you too. Like, that's an area that I can show some growth in. It might not ever happen, but I
But at least you're open and willing to.
Of.
And right. And so now when I go and have these conversations, I may start with, now you may not like what I have to say.
A disclaimer.
Right, disclaimer
before I say what I say. Give them a heads up. That way I can be like, I'm thinking of your feelings. But at the same time,
and then she go in.
It's like in front of post. This episode is rated MA.
Right? I want my soul to be at peace. So I'm gonna say what I have to say.
I said what I said, and now I'm at peace.
Y'all heard that?
Here's the thing that I keep thinking about, like, especially when you just think about like your normal relationship you have with your friends, your best Judies or whatever. They're dating somebody new. They're excited about that person, and the frequency. I have friends that will wait a long time. Like, I'm one of these people. Like, I keep the person that I'm seriously dating or am considering seriously dating, on like the side until like I know that it's going somewhere, and then I introduce them to my friends because I want to make my own opinions up. But I also have friends that as soon as they meet them, they go on a date with a person on Tuesday, and then Wednesday they're like, hey, let's all get together. I want you to meet my friends. So I understand the different spectrums there. And I think for me, usually when I'm like interacting with my Judies and they're bringing somebody around, the very first thing they ask after they bring them around is, what did you think about that person? And that would then be my opportunity if I knew something in the past that I think would be worth them knowing, meaning I might not say, like, oh, this person did this, air their dirty laundry, but I might use some things like, have you guys had conversations about previous relationships? Where do you guys stand on things like, like monogamy? Like, I would use those kind of questions because I also don't want to rob that person of the opportunity to see the growth that the person that they're dating might have had since I've experienced them. But I also, if they ask me my opinion,
you experienced them. So y'all Eskimo sisters? Are we sharing?
Eiffel Tower.
Look. She said, since I experienced them, I was like, ooh. She said, sharing is caring.
Even though I hate the word Eskimo because that actually is a derogatory term.
A stereotype.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
but no, I mean, like my whole point of view with like that whole like, like, do I say something without being asked versus do I take the cue of someone as I always lean, or at least I try to lean towards, I'm going to wait till somebody brings it up to me before I say what I have to say. Because I don't want to rob the person of the opportunity to figure that shit out on their own. And I don't want to shade that other person because from the time that I knew them or knew of their experience. Now, mind you, if it was like 2 weeks ago, one thing, but it was a person that I knew from way back in the day and they were a hellion going through hellion kind of things.
Oh yeah, given the benefit
that could be outdated.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to like shade them, and then now all of a sudden, I started drama in their relationship because it's something they did 10 years ago and they're not that person anymore.
It's too soon to call that a relationship. Look, I give it a 12-month window. I won't say nothing. If they done something that's more than a year old, I'm not going to really say nothing. Yeah. But if it's been within the last 12 months, I'm saying something because that's still very much relevant. That's still very much relevant. There is a timeline.
Jerrell operated on the credit score system.
Look. Come on, FICO. Oh man, thank you for that question. Clearly, it got us riled up. So thank you.
I will also say though, if I don't say something, I will be that person who will physically be like, I'll be rolling my eyes.
It'll be all over Jerrell's body
It'll be
language.
all over my face. I'll be on the other side of the room, like throwing dagger with my eyeballs. Like,
I know y'all should see Jerrell during this conversation. Jerrell done moved all over this damn room.
Yeah.
He was all up on the couch. He was all into the screen. He was all over the place. So that conversation clearly touched him to his core.
That was a good question, community, and y'all keep them questions coming.
Definitely, and we're gonna have to poll the community on this one to see what they say.
I did waste 4 years in a relationship with someone, and I had a bunch of friends like not tell me the truth as far as how they felt about that individual.
But do you think you would have learned as much if they told you from the get-go than you going through it?
Actually, yeah, because I'm the type of person that like, if I don't need to experience something physically
To learn the
myself and
lesson.
learn from someone else, then
Right.
I would prefer that. I would prefer someone else go through the mess.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And I
I hear you on
learn
that.
through
Yeah.
them versus than me having to go through it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I mean, I remember as a kid, like, you know, you always rebel when your parents would be like, now don't do this, don't do this. And be like, I'm little grown. I know what I'm doing.
I was
And
never
then
that kid.
you learn, see, I was that kid at 23, 24, like apologizing to my parents and my grandma being like, ooh, I remember you told me this at 17 years old.
Uh-huh.
5 years later, I got the message. My bad.
Right.
You were right. You know. So now I think that way. Like I know that there's value in people's wisdom, and it may not be necessarily your truth, but there is some experience in there worth taking from.
Yeah.
And so I've learned to dissect any information that's given to me and try to figure out what I can learn and what's not valuable to me. So I don't know. I felt some kind of way.
Yeah.
So I
Well, we need
become
to
that
hear
person.
what we need to hear what the
like,
community has to say. So we'll get a poll out
Absolutely.
there and ask
Absolutely.
y'all. And we want to know, would y'all tell or nah?
And before we get, like, we're way into the episode at this point, but we meant to say at the beginning, Happy Indigenous People Day, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
It ain't Columbus Day.
Absolutely.
It is not Columbus
F that
Day.
man.
Fuck that
Reclaim
man.
it our holiday.
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yes. You know, and I'm very disappointed that it's 2019 and it still has not been
Changed.
changed. Like you see like schools being, sued because of mascots, of them having Native American symbols or mascots and stuff like that and being challenged to change and whatever. But like you would think that alone means that people care and it does freaking matter. And I'm just so tired of people, especially people who aren't in the Native American POCs who aren't a part of the Native American community, still not sticking up for our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a POC, like, you should be caring about this because it matters for all of us, and it's
Completely.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
the problem that we
bothers
have
me.
now is that federal holidays are kind of dictated by Congress. And girl, y'all know.
And you know how that is.
Ain't nothing happen until, we get somebody out of the office. So we got a little bit of work to do, but shout out to, to the Indigenous people. We see you. We appreciate you. We know that you guys have had it hard. You've gone unseen, unheard for too long. And it's just a day that we recognize. And, I feel fortunate that I work for a company that, that we don't use internally in our language. Columbus Day, we use Indigenous People Day. And I applaud a lot of other companies that are out there that are doing the same thing. So at least within the culture that you exist, companies are doing the right thing, even if our federal government is lagging a little bit behind.
And it's starting to change. Like you see certain states are starting to change the terminology and things like that. So once enough states kind of start going, then it seems like the federal government at a certain point almost is like, our bad. Like we're slow on this again, a slow moment again on something else, But no, we definitely wanted to make sure we called that out. And I was even reading articles about like the Indigenous people and even the Indigenous gay scene, and just the struggles that they go through as well in their own community. It's like they're forgotten in the government sense, and then they're forgotten within their own culture. So, and I mean, we feel that a lot of times within the POC culture, but that's just one that you just don't hear a lot of stories from them. So like if there's a community member out there that has a story, let us know. We'd love to talk about it and things like that and share it. But it was just interesting when I was just looking up different topics and articles and things like that. I stumbled upon one and I was like, oh man, they're going through the struggle extra hard as well. And we need to make sure that they're visible. Even like there's like the trans community within the Indigenous people that they're just going through stuff. So we see you here at MinoriTea
absolutely.
Report.
I would love to see them make that change first, starting in the schools before even anything else, because I just think it's a part of history that's not accurately taught. Just kind of very similar to Black history, and slavery.
It's like the 1619 project. We need almost like Native American Indigenous people, like
Absolutely.
1619.
because they're still not talking about the truth of what Christopher Columbus did. And the harshness of it. They keep putting him up in this spotlight as like, oh my God, he's the person that founded the country and all this other stuff. And it's just like,
No, bitch.
The
This
horrible,
country's been
no, it's been here. It's been here. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I would really love to see them start teaching that correctly in their curriculum in schools, you know? And I think if it starts there, our youth, eventually, as they get older, will be able to start making those changes.
I learned, and when we did have, like, back in the summer, we did, this kind of, not really social experiment, but we were really highlighting a lot of, some super sung and some unsung prolific figures in just the LGBT community for Gay Pride Month. And we had called out a couple of Native American individuals, Sharice Davis, who is a former MMA fighter, and now she's an out lesbian member of the House of Representatives. And then Evan Adams, who is an openly gay Coast Salish from one of the, and I'm sorry, I'm going to like mispronounce this, but it's like Sliaman First Nation. But anyway, we're able to call out these folks. And I think it's just our way of showing that we see your community. We embrace your community, not just the LGBT part of it, but the wholeness of it. So we'll continue to spread the love and, talk about how important representation is, as part of our podcast.
So it's due time for us to get into another segment that you guys just seem to freaking love. And we love it too because it's hilarious. And we just never know what's going to come out of it, honestly. But curiosity is back, bitch.
Yes.
And we'll see what crazy ones come out this week. Because it seems everyone still loves that knees and elbows one.
I was just not ready for it.
I was so not ready for it. So, all right, let's see here. Who wants to kick it off?
Okay, I can kick it off. I got mine up right here.
Okay.
All right, so would you rather have skin that changes color based off of your emotions, or tattoos that appear all over your body depicting what you did yesterday?
Ooh, bitch. It's gonna be some nasty shit.
You might have like 5 dicks on your face the next day. Who knows? Like,
you might have a giant fisting symbol on your forehead.
Oh,
no. I mean, you might as well keep the fisting thing going throughout this whole episode. I'm just saying.
Man. And this is like forever? Or is it for like a month?
Mm-hmm. This is just how it is. This is your life.
I know we be trying to find the loopholes in this.
Right, okay? Either your skin changes based off your emotions, or you get tattoos.
But the tattoos could change. And so, so be a giant mood ring or the tattoo.
Damn.
Wow, I didn't think it'd be this difficult.
Neither one of these are really work appropriate, so I'm just going to assume that this is.
But you're going to be in a turtleneck.
Right. and that's what I was thinking. I was like, the tattoo would change daily. So there may be a way to plan out your life that if you're going to do some dirty shit to make sure it's on certain days where you're not in the office or you're not going to see your parents or whatever. So that's what I think. I'm trying to find that loophole in my mind, at least. And I think I'm leaning towards a tattoo. But the mood ring would be fine because I'm never really that upset. So anger wouldn't really come through.
Let her talk about Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah. Well, that's not even anger. That's just like I feel. Anyway, I'm not going to go back down that.
Change the colors.
That's true. That is true. I'm changing colors right now, huh? I don't know. I got to think. Go ahead, Dewan. What's your answer?
I would say be the mood ring. I would just rather have my skin change color, and people just will then have to know that whatever it is that I'm feeling in this moment, no matter what my face is, what my mouth is saying, whatever words that are coming out of my mouth, you will be able to read it all over my face. But you can't fire me for how I feel. I would be like, but you can't fire me for how I feel. You fire me for what I say and what I do, but not how I feel, because that would be discrimination. So
there you go.
So I would go with the color.
She went with HR, the HR answer over here. She said, "I'm trying to keep my job." I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't think it could be a mood ring, because what if you out in public and a fine guy walk by and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, damn, I would hit that. And all of a sudden your
whole body
turns purple.
Turns whatever the color of sex is, all of a sudden you perfect and you be like, ooh, and everyone gonna look at you like, who you trying to fuck?
Right.
Who you trying to fuck? You know,
It's
like,
you, boo. It's you.
you know, like, or if you a hater, you know, and like all of a sudden you start turning red, they're like, "Oh, this bitch don't like somebody." Who the
But here's the
Yeah.
alternative
You know,
to
I
that.
feel like
You
people
hook
be
up with
asking
that
me.
fine man, and then you got a tattoo on your body from that situation.
here's my question: do the tattoos appear on your face?
See,
You
we
asked the
don't know that.
question. This
Right,
was
you
your
asked the
scenario.
question.
I didn't see it in there. I mean, this is. I'm assuming we don't look like Post Malone. So,
I'm
if you don't
assuming
get
that this.
or
I'm assuming this is
T9,
like.
so
These are like
if you don't get them on your face.
I'm feeling this is like the whole kabuki. What is it? The kabuki Japanese total body tattoos depicting the whole scene of whatever it is that you did yesterday. That's
See?
how I'm picturing it. Not
You
like
know-
little itty bitty, like, oh, there's like a McDonald's sign underneath your right eyeball.
Right.
No,
Look,
this is
well,
like
It's like a whole
Here,
sleeve.
I'm
and
just
little-
look. I'm gonna go with the tattoos, and I'm not fucking if I'm doing something important the next day. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And that's
I feel
what
like my tattoos would be boring as hell. There would be a whole bunch of me watching The Sopranos.
or my 600-pound life.
Right? Yes, eating a tub of ice cream.
I think
I'm
I am
gonna
leaning
go with the tattoo
towards
because you can cover them up. You can cover up
exactly.
Your, you know,
That's where I think
like-
I'm leaning towards because I think I would be able to plan a little better than the mood ring skin. So I think I'm leaning towards a tattoo. As
And
well.
I'm gonna embrace the makeup life if they're on my face. You know, I'm
Right.
gonna give me some
Get that
concealer. I'm
Fenty.
gonna start beating my face.
Oh, she gonna beat it so she can cover it up.
I'm gonna start
This
covering it
episode's
up.
sponsored by
Absolutely.
Fenty. Let's put that out there. Thank you,
Yeah.
Fenty Beauty.
Thanks, Riri.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with the tattoos, and if I get them on my face, I'm just gonna beat my face.
I hear you. Okay. You got one, Dewan?
I got one. It's kind of sexual in nature.
Ow. Let's go.
Because, y'all community, y'all be sending us like these deep philosophical questions and we
Sure
love
do.
them. But, sometimes we like to get a little bit lighthearted, which is why we have
we want a little more spice in our
curiosities.
questions.
So this is a little sexual. So you're having, sexual relations with your significant other. Would you rather be blindfolded or handcuffed?
Blindfolded. We said the same thing. You ain't about
At
to,
the same time. At
you ain't
the
about to
same
handcuff
time.
me, bitch.
No. Mm-mm.
Why though?
No.
Because I don't trust everybody fully to do what they're supposed to do at the end and let me go.
Ooh.
But like, bitch, you see, I'm still laying here. Untie my ass.
That's it.
Mm-mm.
Handcuffs are just too traumatizing for me. I just can't.
Is
it
this
takes
like me
to
in the African Flies?
Yes. Like you and the African flies.
She got
It really
some
is.
slavery
It's just-
PSTD.
It's a boner killer right away. Like, no, don't put me in no handcuffs.
Mhm.
I just, no, I just can't.
Mine is blindfold for sure. And blindfold's kind of sexy. Like, I mean, I think I would get more pleasure out of that, still knowing that I probably still have a little control of the situation. And maybe it comes to control. But there's something about being handcuffed that I don't know if I would be able to fully be in the moment of that sexual gratification because I'm like, are they going to uncuff me? I think that would come through my head the entire freaking time.
Yeah, I guess my question is this a new hookup? Are we at
That's
IML
sure
or
too.
are we in a long-term relationship where we have developed trust between us?
But
Because
even with Corey would find it funny to leave me there for like 5 minutes.
See.
I literally, I guarantee you that's what he's saying at the episode right now. Guarantee it.
See, I'm leaning more towards the handcuff thing, only because I tend to be much more in control of my life, and so just to have like that moment, and don't get me wrong, like the whole like
she nasty. She's like, I'm in control. She's like, I don't want to be in control.
Right.
She said, control. Let it go.
Like you have no, because I feel like if you're blindfolded, there's still an element of control. You just have surprises, because like blindfold is like, you don't know what's happening to you, whereas being handcuffed or bound, you know what's happening to you.
Shit.
You just can't control it. So the idea is to submit.
Okay.
To give yourself into it.
You've been handcuffed before, haven't you?
Actually, I have not.
Okay.
I have not. No, I have not.
Because you were speaking like you had that from experience, girl.
But I mean, just the idea of it, like I said, it's
Right.
It's interesting because like being blindfolded is not about, there is an element of trust there, but it's really about being surprised by what happens to you and with what. Whereas you're fully aware when you are bound or handcuffed, you just don't have any control over what happens to you. So, you're really putting yourself in their hands.
I would with Fiznik, but I would need them to be like some furry handcuffs, just so I don't feel that metal on my wrist to just, fuck me up. And that's why they have to be fuzzy, so they feel a little bit more comfortable at least. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thanks for going with me there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have one. It's timely. Would you rather eat no candy at Halloween or no turkey at Thanksgiving?
No candy at Halloween. First of all, I'm not a sweets person to begin with.
Yeah, that's right. I don't. Before.
Yeah, I'm not a sweet person to begin with. You're not fucking up my Thanksgiving meal, okay? Look, absolutely not.
Like, I'm torn just because I'm a sweets person, and part of me could almost do without turkey at Thanksgiving. Honestly, like I like it, and I feel like I have to eat it.
She gonna be like, "That's because there's ham, there's turkey ham, there's chicken." She finds a loophole. Options. She said, "You didn't say all the other meats. You didn't say all the other meats. You just said turkey." So.
Right. So I guess we can rephrase it then. So no candy at Halloween and no meat at Thanksgiving. As
long as my turkey gets stuffed.
I'm sorry. I have to get rid of the candy.
Yeah.
Candy's got to go.
Yeah.
Because I don't really, number one, candy's really not that big to me. But even still, like when I think about, and mind you, the meat part of Thanksgiving is not really the stuff that I really get excited about. It's really just, it's a side.
The sides.
It's the stuffing. It's the
you call
greens.
it stuffing, not dressing?
I call it dressing.
I call it stuffing. Yeah.
I call it dressing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Same
call it
here.
stuffing.
Okay.
I got a good stuffing recipe too. Anyway, we're not gonna go down that path.
back to the cooking
I'm gonna need
channel.
to see what it looks like.
Right. That's another polarizing dish.
Well,
by the way.
I use cornbread I use a cornbread as part of my my stuffing.
Yes, you got to use
so,
cornbread. And that's another polarizing dish right there as well. Cornbread.
Yeah.
I guess the whole soulful experience is polarizing.
All I got to say.
We're gonna need to do a soul food episode where we just talk about like the different type of meals around Thanksgiving.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll do that.
There's a whole lot, even when you get into like the desserts and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay,
sides.
I'm still hungry.
Right.
But okay. So you said candy, get rid of. I think.
Yeah. Gone.
I think I would say probably get rid of candy just because I don't think candy is just solely specific to Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of the dishes around Thanksgiving, a lot of times are kind of, you crave that meal that time of year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would be missing that whole experience if I got rid of all the meats. We've got the meat.
All the meat.
Got the meat. Where's the beef?
Now,
Okay,
if
what you
meat
got, Jerrell?
includes your man, we maybe
Right. So you got to get that little snack at the end of the day. Now.
Okay. So, would you rather accidentally be responsible for the death of a child or accidentally responsible for the death of 3 adults?
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Why'd you take us all morbid?
This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be curiosity, not curiosity.
Now I want to see how I want to see how the brain works now. I want to see.
I would say a child.
You gonna kill the child?
Gone. 1 versus 3.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
There's no one right answer for this, so I mean,
there isn't an answer for this.
You gonna kill the baby?
Yeah, you got to go, little Tyler.
Damn, that poor child. Look.
Shut up.
Now you know she always gonna be. Now you know she gonna be the crazy lady in the community, being like, "Get off my yard,
Tyler! I see you little Tylers out there.
Don't be messing up my pecunias.
Oh,
I'm gonna whoop you and your mama."
That's funny. My initial thought process was get rid of the adults so the kid can at least experience a little more life. But then part of me too is just like, okay, maybe he just doesn't know better. I don't know. This is a weird thing to justify in your head.
See, I just had to flip a coin.
This is something they do. You know, this is that psychology thing that they do, because it's kind of like there's a train on the track, and if you pull it this way, then you save one person on the train. But if you pull it this way, then the train goes on this track. And
it's kind of like Batman: The Dark Knight, where he had to decide
Saw.
Two-Face or his homegirl, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or the movie Saw.
True. Or the
You
movie
got to cut
Saw.
off your leg or let this other person die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, if I could pick the 3 people, I'm choosing the 3 people.
See,
you be talking about us and loopholes. Shut up.
If I can pick the 3 people, I'm gonna choose the 3 people.
You about to go today. This is the opposite of the genie and the lamp.
Right.
She got a hit list.
She's saying, I got 3 right now. Right now.
Off the earth.
And one of them is cheating on my friend. So there we go.
They got to go. I mean, if I could choose the 3 people, I think I would choose the 3 adults either way, even if I couldn't choose them. I would hope that they don't have kids, and I'm not putting their children in, situations to be, without a parent. But at the same time, I believe I want to invest in our future, and I know the children are the future. So
Come on,
I
Whitney.
would hope that, saving this young child's life would hopefully, give them room to make a difference in the world.
And then they could turn up to be the next Hitler.
Ugh, damn, so you fucking it up.
I'm sorry.
Goddamn. I mean, you're right. You're right. But I mean, maybe one of those 3 people is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I love children. I just I couldn't kill a baby. I just couldn't kill a child.
I couldn't kill a baby Tyler. Let's see here. I had one and I lost it here.
I want the one with the most inches. How about that? There's my answer. I want the one with the most inches.
Whoop. There we have it. Okay, this one was a little morbid, but we'll go with it.
No,
would you rather swim 300 meters through shit or dead bodies?
How, swim through shit or swim through dead bodies? How freshly dead? How freshly dead are they? How freshly dead are they? Are they smelling already? If they fresh dead bodies, then
I would say dead bodies.
If they're fresh dead bodies, then I'm gonna say a prayer and flick my holy water as I swim through.
I don't know the loophole,
but if they they've been a while and they smell, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, who had corn? Who had corn today? Like
and they decomposing.
I feel like dead bodies from a texture standpoint, at least I know if I'm swimming through it, I know what I'm going to be feeling versus if you're if you're swimming through shit, the textures of like things that would get stuck to you and like that you have to put your fingers through. Just see. No, I could no. I'd rather have dead bodies.
And it'd be all underneath your fingernails.
See, no, they'll be in your pockets when you in your swim short pockets when you get out of the water.
It'll be in your your nose hair and stuff like that. So you'd be smelling it for days.
And when you get out of the water, you take that stuff with you. At least when you get out of the water with the dead bodies stay there. So like you don't have any of that stuff on you. No eyeballs or fingernails or anything like that.
Right. And how you getting home after you swim through this shit too? Like,
surely
are you taking
not an Uber.
Are you taking the metro home?
Look, in New York, you can.
Surely not an Uber.
Look, you can get on that train and everybody else will get off the train. You'll have the whole train to yourself.
Too funny. Too funny. Yeah, I'm leaning towards the dead bodies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was a crazy question.
Look,
Sorry.
community, we did warn y'all.
It was going to be a messy episode. Literally and figuratively.
Right.
So dear.
Okay, I got one real fast one.
Okay.
Would you rather have cute horns or a cute tail?
Cute horns. Cute horns.
Cute horn.
Because I know already I don't like people touching my butt. And so I just feel like you had a cute tail, people be more drawn to start touching your tail and touching your butt to begin with. I don't need any more attention back there. She gets enough attention back there, So I'm gonna say keep your eyes up here
and I'm back there.
Horn. Right.
Tail or horns? You're horny, baby.
You and these voices.
I don't know where they're coming from today. I don't know why I'm thinking this hard about this. I'm leaning towards a tail. Because, like, I feel like you could be, like, in The Wiz and, like, the Cowardly Lion, and he was, like, dancing with his tail and
that's
everything.
exactly why I said I can see her over there shaking her ass, making that tail bounce like,
oh, yeah. Like, yes, bitch, you see it. You see it. Ow. You see this tail. Ow.
Should be grabbing drinks at the bar with her tail, doing tricks.
There's all kinds of tricks. So I'm leaning towards tail.
What about you, Dewan?
I'm leaning towards the horns.
Yeah.
I don't want the horns. I feel like that would be just, I don't know, like an additional facial accessory, and you can get a lot of use out of it.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a horn, like anything on like the face, like you might get acne, it might start falling out. It might,
take a left.
So that's what I was thinking with the horns. I was like,
I mean, at least you can use the horn for foreplay.
Facts.
So the next question.
I mean, hold up. We talking about blindfold and tying people up. I'll tie your ass up with this tail.
She said, I'm going to choke you with this tail.
Choke him with the tail, tie him
I'm
up.
going to smother you.
I'm just saying.
Would you rather live without the internet or live without AC and heating?
Didn't we talk about this one before?
I don't think so. Mm-mm. Oh, what?
Didn't you say something last time like Wi-Fi and... Or was that Dewan? Whether you have without the Wi-Fi or something like that. And then Dewan said he would get rid of the Wi-Fi so he wouldn't be on his phone as much.
Yeah. But I can't remember what the question was. That was a long time ago, girl.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, but okay.
So what did you ask?
Would you give up Wi-Fi
or AC?
Or for AC and heating, or give up heating and
I would
AC
get rid of heat and cooling,
Wi-Fi?
and then I would just move.
I
moved to San Diego.
We are so good for the final fucking loophole.
For real.
Just
we
move.
really are. We really are.
The whole point of having
You're going to have a
AC...
summer home and a winter home. That's what she's going to have.
Right. The whole point of having AC and heating is to avoid, like the extreme elements. So if you live in an environment where you're not exposed to it, then it really doesn't matter. But
And where's that environment?
Huh?
Name that environment. Where's that at?
San Diego. It's 70 degrees every day in San Diego.
Girl.
I can't argue that.
That might be the closest one. You're right. But they still got AC. It'd be hot.
I mean, but...
She's going to be in the ocean. She's going to be swimming.
I guess.
But it's not like living in Chicago, or Atlanta without AC and heating.
Honestly, it will depend on where I live.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly would depend on where I live. Like, if we were back in the Midwest, I would choose AC and heating, just because we all know you get both ends of the spectrums, especially with the humidity. It could be 100 degrees in the summertime. It could be below 40 with the wind chill in the wintertime. I could not freaking survive without those two. And then I'm just going to make sure that I have that. I'm going to have my roommate or my partner have the other, so we got both. There we go. That's my answer. So, he can have the Wi-Fi, I have the AC and heating, we just share our shit. Loophole.
I can't with y'all. I'm just gonna say give up Wi-Fi because I still have an unlimited data plan. So ow. So I don't need the Wi-Fi.
True.
And there you have it. Oh man, we're gonna have to put all these questions up for the community so they can join in. We keep saying that, and I think we keep forgetting some of them. But we'll try to remember from this episode to get these up, so just to see what you guys say. But tomorrow, just a reminder, I think it's tomorrow or sometime this week, there's another Democratic debate. So make sure you're staying tuned to that. Make sure you're registered to vote, vote.org. We preach it a lot, but this next election is going to be huge. It's going to be critical for you to be registered and getting out there to vote. Whatever way you vote, at least make sure you're voting, because it's literally one of the greatest privileges we have in this country. So get out and do that. And then also a great privilege is to subscribe to our podcast and share it to your friends and your family. So make sure you do that.
Plug it in.
Right. I stick that in every time. So make sure you do that. We appreciate you guys' support and love and everything for the podcast thus far. And I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
Have a good week, y'all.
Have a good week, y'all. Bye.